गुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हुकुम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम्. So last week we were discussing chapter 15, text 1, the chapter entitled as Purushottam Yoga. Very interesting. Krishna picks up an analogy of banyan tree in the first verse. Why he's picking up banyan tree's example? If you see banyan tree, yeah, yeah, the roots go down and they become trunk, and then from there another tree grows. So if you see a very old tree, it's very difficult to figure out where is the beginning and where is an end, which is a trunk, which is the root, and which was the origin trunk, and this is the thing. So similar way, though material world is not infinite, it is still finite, but at our level it is infinite. Does it make sense? So Krishna gave an analogy about the banyan tree. He talked about the leaves are the Vedic hymns, right? So that's what we're just talking about. I'll just read the verse really quick. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and branches down. Right? We talked about the why it is like that, because if you see a banyan tree near the lake or near the pond, you see a reflection of the tree, and in that you see the roots are up and the branches are down. It apparently looks like that, right? Um, and that is how the material world is a reflection of spiritual world, right? It is perverted reflection of spiritual world. So everything in spiritual world is in harmony, but in material world everything is disharmony. Talking about the heat, right? It's completely opposite. In spiritual world, when Krishna wants to go with gopas and go for a cow herding and all that stuff, all of a sudden the weather becomes really beautiful. It's just so enlightening there, right? So material world is always unpredictable. What happens, when happens, we don't know, right? I was just sharing, was just reading about one very young girl who actually who met with an accident in Vrindavan, and she left right there,
Oh,
right there,
recently.
just couple of years back. I just received the article, especially her spiritual master glorifying her. So very young person, very young girl has a very no, that's okay, very nice career, very nicely practicing devotional service. She met with an accident and immediately left her body. So this world is very unpredictable. We don't know when what comes. No idea, right? All of a sudden things happen and it just changes the whole world altogether, right? So that's what I was talking about in the first verse, which is a opposite reflection, or reflection which is in the perverted form, not in the original form. So text 2, Krishna extends the first verse. Let's read this together. You have this on the phone, or you want to read it from here, whichever one works for you. I'm okay, whichever one works for you. Adaschodvam pratastasya sakha
Adaschodvam pratastasya saka
guna pravarda vishaya pravala
Guna-pradha Vishaya Pravala
adaschamulani anushantanani
Adashamulani Anusantani
karma bhumi, sorry, karmanu bandini manushya loke.
Karmanubandini Manushya-loke.
Beautiful verse. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature, which was the whole chapter dedicated three modes of material nature in the previous chapter. Now, what is giving nourishment to material world is the three modes of material nature. So, which means as long as I'm deep rooted into this material world, I will be influenced by three modes of material nature. and the twigs are the object of senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive action of human society. What is fruitive action? Karma. So, what does that mean? That the object of senses are the twigs, and to enjoy those objects of senses, we are entangled in this material world. You see, in the summer, it is rare to find during the winter, but in the summer, what you see, the spider, what they do, wherever they are, they spread their web, right? And they spread their web to a big extent. And then, whenever some mosquitoes are stuck in that, it takes away the whole web, eats those, and goes into the next place and spread his web. That's how Maya works. Maya spreads her spider, her this web. We get caught up in that, and we are taken away, right? So,
Prabhuji,
hmm,
so though the Maya does all this stuff,
hmm,
if we understand all this bhakti and
yeah,
practice, we
yeah.
can overcome and
Yes, very good point. But the question first comes in is most of us don't know that we are stuck in the web, right? What is the purpose of the knowledge? To understand I am stuck somewhere, how to get out. For an example, it's very difficult to cure a patient who does not accept that he is sick. Do you agree? If a patient says, oh, I'm perfectly all right, but there is a deep rooted cancer within him, and when the doctor tells him, hey, why are you telling, like, no, no, I'm perfectly fine, I don't have any issue. So, to cure a patient, he has to realize he is sick and he has to follow the prescribed medicine. So, it is very difficult for us to understand when, I press on the AC, I increase the temperature to 70, like whatever, in the summer for a cold. I feel I'm the controller. I'm not stuck. I can decide however I want to do it. Today I'm sitting here, I want to have pizza. I can go to any restaurant and have pizza. I am under control. That's what we personally feel. As long as we think we are the controller, we won't realize that I'm stuck in the web. So it's very difficult to, first thing is to understand I'm stuck in the web. Once you know that, how do you get out of it? You read, acquire the knowledge out of it. But knowledge is of no use, right? If I'm just hearing, for an example, if you are hungry, I'll give you all the restaurant's menu. Oh, we have this, we have this. Will it satisfy your hunger? No. Menu is a menu. I need food, boss. Don't give me just the menu. A lot of time it happens, right? You're hungry and you want to eat something, and then they give you the menu. Just what can you make it really quick? Can you get that for me? We say that, right? Because menu doesn't fill my hunger. What I need is the real food. So when I acquire this knowledge, when I gain this knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, I apply it in my life. And that's how I get away with these three modes of material nature. So though I'm living in the material world, but I'm practicing a process which will take me out of the process, which will take me out of this material world. Does it answer your question? So Prabhupada mentions,
To come out of this, I even like we should stop thinking of the goals, right? About like personal life, like mm, upgrade, like changing the job, promotions, money, everything. If reduced only, then we can come out of Maya, right? Like, or else how it will be like.
I'll put it this way. I have a body. The soul is within that body. If body is taken care of, then I can practice bhakti. So for an example, yesterday was a Nirjala. Were you able to do that yesterday?
no, Prabhuji.
Oh, I remembered you and message. I'm like, oh, did you see that message or you missed
Yeah,
it?
Prabhuji.
That's sorry.
Both
Okay.
the-
No, that's okay. That's okay. I just remembered, oh,
Definitely.
Krishna, I just forgot in the night. I just messaged. Yesterday was a Nirjala Ekadashi. I'm inspired. Oh, I want to do it for a month. I will not eat anything. What would happen? You know what happens, the implication of that, right? I have to maintain my body so that I can practice the bhakti. But when you go on the other platform, I don't need this body, I'm the soul, and you ignore the body, what happens? You starve and finally you get disease, and then ultimately we have to leave the body, and then ultimately the purpose is defeated, right? Am I making sense? So if I have a job, if I have a family, that is needed because they are in connection with the body, but they are not the goal of my life. There is a difference between having a car. Say, for an example, I want to go to New Vrindavan. Now, Tomorrow morning, I say I have to leave at 5 o'clock to New Vrindavan. I do the car wash, I do the vacuum cleaning, I fill the gas, I prepare the food, and I spend my whole week just doing that thing only. But I missed the goal. Am I making sense? Because I was supposed to go tomorrow. So this body is to maintain to reach to the goal. The goal is not maintaining the body. The goal is not taking care of the job. The goal is not taking care of the family. These are the means where I can do that so that in conjunction with whatever has to be maintained by the body, I reach to the goal. So for an example, say I'll give one from an IT example, right? I'm doing a QA job and I don't want promotion. I'm happy with
Exactly. That's what I thought of saying. Like, we'll be having one position for feeding, for family. Stay with that and concentrate more on bhakti. So instead of keep on thinking of
Correct.
future,
I'll come to that.
career,
Yeah, I'll come to that. So I'm doing a QA automation job. Just one example, right? I have reached to 20 years, 25 years. Now all of the folks who have working with me,
That's
they went up and whatever it is.
correct.
Now the problem is that from 25 years perspective, I do not fit into the hierarchy of the company because engineers have to be like 5 years and 6 years. So now you are out of touch of technology, or something happens in the company, right? You are fired, and now you have to get into a new job. You have to give an interview. Now, an interview, they will not ask related to what you did. They'll ask based on what is they are looking for. So you are incompatible with this world, and now you are not getting the job. You're not able to maintain yourself. So
Keep upgrade parallelly and be with the spiritual.
correct. There are four quotient: spiritual quotient, emotional quotient, physical quotient, and what is that? Emotional, um, physical, spiritual, and emotional. These are the four quotients. All have to be maintained. But the other three have to be maintained to take care of spiritual quotient. What happens? I have also seen people who have to take care of this body. I'll go to the gym in the morning, chanting I'll do in the evening. I have to take care of my body. I'll go for a jog and I'll just do like that, and I'll chant. I'll do yoga in the morning and I'll do chanting in the evening. Now, is that a priority to spiritual life? No, right? Because I very well know that spiritual life has to be practiced early in the morning. You can do it at other times, but it will not be as effective as you do it in the morning. So I'm working towards all the other three quotients to fulfill the spiritual quotient. So I take care of my job, I take care of my family, I take care of my body, I take care of my emotional needs. But at the same time, the whole purpose is to actually raise my awareness on the spiritual platform, right? Ultimately, you also work in such a way saying that you have some plan to retire and completely dedicate to your spiritual life. But again, it shouldn't be too late thinking that, oh, I'll work 70 years, I'll win millions of dollars, and I'll practice at 70. No, you are practicing right now, you are elevating yourself, but one time is dedicated. I will not do anything, but you have to prepare for that one, right? So we have to do everything,
Parallel.
yes, correct, in conjunction with spiritual life. So this verse description Prabhupada explains. The description of banyan tree is further explained here. Its branches spread in all direction. In the lower parts there are variegated manifestation of living entities: human being, animals, horses, cows, dogs, etc. These are situated on the lower parts of the branches. So now, what we said, banyan tree is a material world, right? And now there are branches. There are branches at the lower level, there are branches at the upper level. What is the lower level branches? The earthly planet we are living in, which is consisting of human beings like us, animals, horses, cows, dogs, and etc. Right? Whereas the upper parts are higher forms of living entities, the demigods, Gandharvas, and many other higher species of life. We are where, remember the main important point, the banyan tree is still there. It's a material world representation. Whether I'm lower planet or upper planet, that's part of banyan tree. It's not changing anything on that side, right? As the tree is nourished by the water, so the tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Sometimes we find that the tract of land is barren for want of sufficient water, and sometimes the tract is very green. Similarly, where particular modes of material nature are proportionally greater in quantity, the different species of life are manifested accordingly. For an example, a polar bear can sleep for 6 months. We cannot. Am I making sense? Because the material modes based on the desire of that living entity works accordingly, right? Same way, there are four ashramas and four varnas, right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So, mode of goodness is more prominent in Brahmanas. Ideally, it has to be, right? And it further goes down, right? That's what it is talking about. The twigs of the trees are considered to be the sense objects, the enjoyment of this material world. What are those? They are twigs of the branches, right? And remember who are the branches? Who are on the branches? We talked about lower and upper planet, right? And then we belong to the lower planet, right? So we are part of the branches. And which what are we attached to? The twigs of that branch. What are those twigs? Is the sense object. By development of the three modes of nature, we develop different senses. You notice a person. I'm giving a hypothetical example, which is probably not a right example, but still connected. If you ask a smoker, how did you get into that? He would say, I started with one cigarette. And then I started. Did you like it? No, I was coughing. But then slowly I get into the habit and they drink. Or they do that, right? So based on our desire, we develop the varieties of sense objects. Right? So where would I go? I would go to the, like in India, I would not see those shops which are where they call it. I don't know. I was just reading it somewhere. What do they call it? Call it as these shops.
For smoking?
Yeah.
Smoking
Hookah
zone?
shop, hookah.
No, that is in India. Here, vapor or something.
Oh, wait.
Like,
Wait,
yeah.
say.
So, of course, that's not only smoking, it is going beyond that. I understood that concept. But the point is that based on my desires, I expand my portfolio that way. I want to look for those things. Like, for an example, if you are Krishna conscious, when you go to a certain city, what you would first search for is there a temple here? Because again, what is this? These are spiritual senses, these are not material senses. But based on my desire, I look for things which are in connection with that, right? The tips of the branches are the senses. What are the senses? The ear, nose, eyes, etc., which are attached to the enjoyment of different sense objects. The twigs are sound, form, touch, and so on. I like to hear something. I want to see something. I want to experience a certain type of touch so that I can have sense gratification. The subsidiary roots are attachment and aversions. What is that? The subsidiary roots. Now, because I have a sense objects and now I'm involved in those, so my attachment develops on that. And aversions are redirection or sideways on the path, right? Which are byproducts of different varieties of suffering and sense enjoyment. Now, this is very important. Let me read this. What is the subsidiary roots are attachment and aversions, which are byproducts of different varieties of suffering and sense enjoyment. Why am I suffering? Tendency to enjoy. Am I making sense? Any person who is going through difficulty is just based on their karma. And why they are going through this karma? Because there were certain actions which were performed not in conjunction or not congenial to spiritual life. Right? That's why, unfortunately, you see in previous times they would at least have some kind of spirituality practice in school. We would, even if you don't know Bhagavad Gita, there was Mahabharat serial, those 2 3 verses everybody knew. Sarva dharma, no, what is that? Sambhavani yoge yoge sarva dharma, what is that? Sanstapanathaya Sambhavani yoge yoge, right? So now, yeah, so now the spiritual culture was there, so at least even anybody you see, they would know those verses in those times. But now you see our kids who do not, at least if they do not have any connection with spirituality or coming before coming to Krishna, they have no idea about this. They have lost that culture, right? So what happens is the manual of life, Bhagavad Gita is a manual of life. If I don't know how to live my life, what is going to happen? By default, whatever activities I'm doing, they are going to be sinful, right? Or even if I'm practicing some kind of religiosity, right? We call it as spirituality. Rituality has a spirit. Why I'm doing that is very important. So before coming to Krishna consciousness, I would do rituals without understanding the spirit behind that. So when you come to Krishna consciousness, now whatever ritual activities you are performing, now you are looking to spiritualize them because you want to find out the reason behind whatever I'm doing. So when I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, the manual of life, it gives me impetus to understand how should I live the life, what is the piety and what is the sinful life. Right? It is a big problem today in the education system. The tendency towards piety and impiety are considered to develop from these secondary roots. Right? Because of the sense enjoyment. Now, even for some people, I was just shocked. I'll tell you this thing before. When we grew up, we understood that you have to get married. Without married, you cannot have extramarital relationship, and that's how most of us got married and continue that stuff. I went for New York Rath Yatra. Was just coming in a bus from New York to New Jersey. I was staying at one devotee's house, so I was coming in the bus. There was one spot, other devotees were also there. They found a spot, and there was one spot next to a girl who was sitting there. And I was sitting there and just very tired with the whole thing. And she was talking on the phone. And I was shocked. She's an Indian girl. I didn't see her face until we got down, but she was talking to some of her friend, talking about her extramarital relation, no, before marriage relationship, whatever we call it is, I don't know. I think extramarital relationship, whatever it is. And then she was talking about how she's spending her life, and I was disgusted sitting there. So when other seat opened, and I just went from there. So the culture has become so completely distracted. People have forgotten the real purpose and what is the principle, what is the piety and sin, right? So the real root is from Brahmaloka. Root is up, we talked about it, right? Root has to be down. Why root is up? Because from Brahma everything emanates. So he has to be the root. From there, other planets are created, other living entities are created. So what is the root? The real root is Brahmaloka, where Lord Brahma resides, and other roots are in the human planetary system. After one enjoys the results of virtuous activities, which is piety, in the upper planet system, he comes down to this earth planet and renews his karma. Right? What is that? I have, like when you travel from India, we were just talking about that, right? We were given a prepaid visa card, and you use that. Once it gets over, you are exhausted with that. So similar way, we have a prepaid card of karma. What is prepaid? Nobody gave me. I created that karma, and I go to heavenly planet, enjoy if I want to, and then come back here. What is that? Now my karma is zero. My credit card is zero balance now, which means I won't have a luxury of, if I'm Indra, I don't have a luxury of Indra. Of course, I'm not, but I'm just giving an example, right?
Probably, just a question, probably. So we have different planets, right? Even for Lord
Yes.
Rama.
Yes.
So
Those are Vaikuta. They are not part of
right?
banyan tree.
Yeah. Probably, what about demigods? Probably they don't have anything, right? Or other than Shiva, like we have other demigods too, right? Probably. So those who worship those demigods, what will happen to them? Probably
They'll go to their planet, but living in the banyan tree only.
Okay.
I'm just moving from one twig to the other twig, one branch to the other branch, but it's in banyan tree. But if I worship Lord Vishnu, another incarnation, I go there.
Even I have a doubt for when they reach to, let's take any god, any demigod. We went there. I mean, he means somebody went there.
Yeah.
And that particular god won't tell them like, hey, this is not the right place. You should. I mean, do we have anything like that probably in the history or in the Vedas or?
Yeah, very important, Prabhu. The four Vedas specifically talk about that: Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvaveda. We approach demigods for what purpose? I want to enjoy the material world.
No, exactly.
My destination I already decided. Yeah, I want to enjoy.
So
I decided myself, I want to stay in this banyan tree. I don't want to get out of that. I want luxury. Like for an example, if you see Gyanis or such people, karma yogis, especially karma yogis, I'll put it, not karmis. They avoid enjoying in this material world. They aloof themselves from the material world. You know why? Because they consider the enjoyment in the material world is temporary, and it is very tuchha. Tuchha means very small. Yeah, I want a higher rasa. And what they want to do is they aloof from there. But what is the intention? I want to go to heavenly planet and enjoy there. Oh, I'm seeing beautiful girls here. Oh, but heavenly girls are more beautiful. I don't want. I have
Let's
nothing
go
to do.
there.
But ultimately, I'm still in the banyan tree. I'm not getting out of it. So now the question comes. The point. When I go to that devata, what was my intention?
Let's enjoy.
So he will provide me that. So for an example, if you go to Walmart, you say, I want a wine bottle. They won't tell you that, oh, wine bottle is not good for you.
Okay.
You take this healthy drink, that's good for you.
Oh,
Correct? No, they won't do that. Correct?
yeah.
Because they are there.
Just a
So,
doubt, Prabhu.
no, very good, Prabhu. Demigods are purely in business. Not that they are harmful for us, but we are desiring for something and they can only offer us that thing. Like for an example, Dhruv Maharaj. No, let me put an example of Ravana. Whom did he worship? Lord
Shiva.
Shiva. Why did he worship him?
Whatever he requires, he used to give.
What is the request he had?
All
I
materialistic.
want to be the Ishvara. I want to be the best person in the entire, and I want to do whatever I like to do. Now, what will Lord Shiva? Now, Lord Shiva is a devotee of Lord Ram. He could offer him that bhakti. Hey, why are you wasting your time? But that person doesn't have a consciousness to accept that fact.
So even if you tell, we don't listen. Yeah.
However, if you approach Lord Shiva and ask for bhakti,
Yeah.
he will grant you bhakti to Krishna.
Yeah. That is
Because you are asking for that thing. You are not asking to Walmart saying that of course, he's not Walmart. I'm giving a hypothetical example for our understanding. Because I'm asking something sublime. Though I do not know who is the Parameshwara. Am I making sense? Sometimes, like it is in Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni is a son of Brahma. He glorifies Lord Brahma. You are the ultimate creator. You created everything. You are the Parameshwara. Oh, I'm not the Parameshwara. Brahmaji is crystal clear. I am just doing whatever Lord Vishnu told me. If you want to glorify, you go and glorify him. No making sense?
Yeah.
He is forwarding whatever is the credit. It's not that I'm doing something. So it is all about the audience. It is all about the cultivator. It is all about the worshipper. What is the mood? What is he looking for? The demigods will offer the same thing. There is a beautiful story. I'll share that with you. In Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Lord Chaitanya at the time um, he wasn't initiated. His name was Nimai. He was a very great philosopher. In earlier times, the real treasure was the knowledge. So he was a very good philosopher. And there was another very proud philosopher. His name was Keshav Kashmiri. He was living in Kashmir. And at the time, Navadvip, which is 4 or 5 hours away from Calcutta, used to be the hub of philosophers, like greatest knowledges. So he came there. What he would do, he would defeat all the philosophers and write the name. Oh, I defeated this thing, and he would carry. Oh, I defeated this guy, this guy. Wow, it's like our biodata, our resume. I worked ABC. He would have a biodata talking about, oh man, I defeated this guy. So he came to Nimai. And Nimai said, oh, he came near the shore of Ganges. He said, can you glorify Mother Ganga? So he, on the spot, composed hundreds of verses. And he spoke at the speed of wind. He spoke one after the other. He finished all 100 verses. And he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai at that time, did you understand? Yeah, I have a question. He picked up one verse from that and says that, can you tell me the good points in that verse and the bad point in that verse? So he was surprised. Hey, I spoke at the speed of wind.
When you just picked up one.
Yeah, he picked up hundreds of verses, and between he picked up one and he's asking, oh, there are no faults in my poetry. Everything is perfect. No, please. Tell me no, there are no imperfections. And Nimai told the imperfection in that verse, and this guy was completely bewildered. This person had a boon from Mother Saraswati. Whenever he would speak, Mother Saraswati would come on his tongue. So Nimai said, this is a fault, and can you correct it? And this guy is bewildered. And he's thinking, why Mother Lakshmi did it? Mother Saraswati did this to me. She's always on my tongue, and I'm not able to answer his question. Why I'm not able to speak? And Nimai told, that's okay. Other students of his, because he was a teacher, were laughing. He said, don't laugh. Don't laugh at him. He said, you must be tired, you take rest and come tomorrow, we will discuss. So he went home and then he started worshiping Mother Saraswati. Mother Saraswati came. Mother Saraswati, you gave me a boon that whenever I'll recite, you'll give me the indication. You will speak on my tongue. What is happening? Why? How come this happened? Who's Nimai? He's Lord Krishna. What is it?
Maybe you can face it. I mean, at the same time, you can face both of them.
No problem, Praji. You know who is Nimai? He is Lord Krishna himself. He is my master. How can I be on your tongue and defeat my master? I'm subservient. If you ask me, you go and take a shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Next day, he went and bowed down to Lord Chaitanya and told him whatever happened there with Mother Saraswati. And Lord Chaitanya said, don't tell anyone that I'm incarnation of Krishna. I'm Krishna myself. Don't tell. Because this is a hidden avatar. I don't disclose it to anyone except my confidential devotees. Why did I share this pastime? Mother Saraswati gave him a direction to surrender to Lord Chaitanya. Right? So Devatas, if you have a sincere desire, sincere worshipful mood, they will redirect you there. Even Lord Shiva. If you ask him, I want bhakti. Oh, that's not my business. I'll take you where I myself practice bhakti. I'll tell you who is my master. That's the whole idea. Makes sense, Prabhuji? Mm-hmm. This planet of human being is considered the field of activities. This is the last line I wanted to read. The world we are living in, the planet we are living is all about karma. We are stuck with karma. So now we talked about this in previous chapters. There are 3 karmas. Karma and vikarma. That's what mostly talked about. Karma means punya. Vikarma means papa. So both are tying us to this material. If I do punya, I have to come again here. I have a balance in debit card. So I have to consume that. I cannot. My debit card or credit card has to have a 0 balance. That's the whole idea. Now, whether it's a credit,
that is only possible when we are in
karma. Correct.
We cannot.
You cannot. So if you are doing charity or you open your temple and all that stuff, you're just touching these 2 areas. But the third area, which Bimesh mentioned, karma, I have to practice bhakti. Only bhakti can get me out of this thing. Make sense? Wonderful.
One question out of this verse. So those who are in Krishna conscious, they will believe this Sadhe Sati, and because of that,
very important. I'll tell you on this thing. This is very, very, very important. The results of karma comes in different way. So when there is piety or when there is pap supposed to happen, and it's ugra karma, very powerful karma or vikarma, whatever. Karma means I just consider both of them part of it. Then our planetary systems are completely messed up. You would see that. You go to any astrologer when your period is going wrong.
My period is going wrong. That's why I'm facing.
So now the question is, Sadhe Sati is going on. They'll tell you. And I had it in my life, so I know about that.
So it really impacts Prabhuji then?
That's how karma comes in.
Okay.
That's how karma comes in, because I'm thinking I'm the controller.
Correct.
Right?
Planets is controlling.
Correct.
Us.
Planets are controlling me now. Now if my Sadhe Sati is going on, my planets are not in right place, then things are not going. But what is the bigger cause? The cause is not the planet. The cause is my karma. So when they ask you to do paschata, they ask you to do atonement, to satisfy these devatas, may work to a certain extent, but that will not turn off your karma. These devatas can move your papa to little later stage and bring punya from your later stage to this year.
But I have to go through that.
Not now, but tomorrow. So the question is, do I
have
have
to suffer now itself?
Yeah, but more than this is very important, Prabhu. When we are going through, sorry, the sun is coming by, so that's why I'm
You can come.
No, this is good. When the suffering comes, our consciousness, this is very important, very, very important. My consciousness should not be focused on suffering. My consciousness has to evolve on spirituality, Krishna. When I'm going through difficulty, at the mind level, if you tell, oh, this is my karma, I have to go through, that will not let you get away with this.
Okay.
It will keep telling you, hey, I have a problem, but you're saying a papa, but what to do? I'm suffering now. My wife was dying in front of my eyes. What do I do? This is karma. Hey, what do I do now? I pray. When you pray, you are uplifting your consciousness here. When you see from top, these things look small. They are still there. I want to be very clear, and I don't want to mislead you, because that's something which is very important. Bhakti does not mean I will not suffer.
That's true.
And also at that time, Prabhuji, it will suppress our spiritual life. I've seen that.
Correct.
Like,
It is like
if
an exhaust
I used to
fan.
get early morning, but it pushed me to, okay, that's okay. Sleep, we can do afternoon. But I will do. But I know it is not effective, but it will push that.
Correct.
I can make the sense.
This negative energy, the karma works. Prabhu, there is another part which is the type of karma. So some of the karma are at the seed level. My life is going perfect, job is perfect, recession is going on, people are losing job, my job is working fine, I'm getting bonus. Sir, seed is still growing. For him, it became a plant. For me, it's a seed now. That does not mean it will not become a plant.
So everybody has to suffer.
Everyone has to suffer. However, for devotees,
one or other way.
However, for devotees, I finish my balance and go back to God. I don't want another birth loss.
Even they will suffer, but they will finish it here.
Let me finish it off. I don't want to carry forward and come. I cannot go. I cannot go back to spiritual world with my credit card or debit card balance. Both have to be zero. So the question is, when I'm suffering, Krishna, thank you. You considered me. Let me get away with this and get there. Prabhu, I know you are facing, but when I was seeing my wife going through what she was going through, it's a tremendous suffering. But at the end, what is the hope? Let it finish off, man. Don't have to come back again to reap it. Better finish it off. But the question here is that I don't want to be focused. My consciousness should not be drained at the platform that, oh, it is part of my karma, I'm suffering. You should not be karma consciousness. Our philosophy is not karma consciousness. We want to be Krishna conscious. We don't want to be focused on suffering. We want to focus on Krishna. How can I lift my consciousness? That is why I keep pushing you guys for association. Because when you are in association, good times or bad times will fly away. You don't want to fly away good times, but unfortunately they will still fly away.
And Krishna says, it seems to Arjuna, he'll ask, like, one person is, if he has happy also, you should feel bad, and if he's unhappy also, you should feel bad. Tell one word. So this time is not permanent.
Yeah, everything is temporary.
Good or bad.
Like, nice summer is there. Right now we are feeling hot. Just couple of months we can't sit here either. I need a heater.
Yeah.
Everything is temporary. Everything is changing. Our body is changing. We are getting old. Right? So it's all about that. Verse 3 and 4, we will cover it quickly. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world because it's a reflection. Real tree is in spiritual world. What we are saying is we are seeing the shadow of that tree in the lake. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, and where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down the strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. What is that? Let me read this again. With what? Determination. One must cut down the strongly rooted tree. This chapter is very important. If I don't know, man, where is my root? How would I cut? Right? Strong rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Detachment is not a one-way process. When you attach yourself to Krishna, detachment automatically happens. What happens with a lot of people? They try to detach themselves, but they can't because they haven't attached to Krishna. So they can't continue further. So you see a lot of people, even wearing orange saffron, they open factories, they open this yoga and all that stuff because they detached from this, but they did not connect themselves with Krishna. So they come back and then open these institutions. Again, what? Money, name, fame. Why? Attachment is not there. They practice only detachment, right? So that's the whole thing. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns. And this is a line I always contemplate on. I want to go to that world where I don't have to suffer these miseries. And not just that, I want to be always blissful serving Krishna. My consciousness is not drained by 9 to 5 job. My consciousness is not drained by taking care of this, that, this, that, this, that. I want to serve Krishna. I want to take, even if I want to take a stress, I want to take it for how can I serve Krishna better. Right? And they are surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything is extended since time and immemorial. That's the world we want. This is not the world. Jesus Christ would say, don't build your house on the bridge. What is the bridge? What is the purpose of the bridge? To cross over. Right? Don't build the house in the castle. Don't build your castle in sand, because that's going to take away. So we don't do that. It's easy to say, but somehow in our practical life, we don't follow that. We are still caught up taking care of our material needs, thinking about what is my spiritual need, focusing on that thing. I was just telling Vimesh Prabhu, come for Mangala Aarti, especially on festival days. Show Krishna that I want to get out of. I'll tell you, these bodily inconvenience, whether you take it for Krishna or whether you take it for Maya, it will eventually happen. For an example, if I were to catch a flight at 5 a.m., irrelevant of whatever, I have to be there at airport at 3 a.m.
You won't sleep on that night, it happens.
Yeah, because how about if I couldn't hear the alarm? And my kids were just saying yesterday, they were trying to do Nirjala Ekadashi yesterday. So whole night they didn't sleep. I want to wake up at 6 o'clock and I want to honor Prashad. They literally woke up today at 5:30 and they called me. Then I had my breakfast. Oh, really? And my son was chanting. I'm like, oh, really? You're chanting today this morning? I was just making fun of him. So that is how it happens. When you don't take your bodily inconvenience for Krishna, you anyhow have to take bodily inconveniences. You ask people who don't get sleep in the night. Want to talk about Mangalarti, they wake up at 3 a.m. itself. And they are complaining, I have this problem, I have that problem. Use this body. When it is in a good shape, use it in Krishna's service. So when the bad time happens, you are completely deep-rooted in Krishna consciousness. There was one favor, you both are there in Vaishnava Sangha group.
Yes, sir.
There is sometimes there are important, not all the time, but there are very important announcements when some sadhus come. Very realized soul. When they come, you should not miss it. Everything else becomes a second priority. They have a power to lift your consciousness from where you are to much more higher without even your endeavor. That's the power of the Sangha. Determination we talked about. How do we get determination? Now one may say, well, I think I have determination, sometimes I don't have it. Or I don't have determination. I want determination. How do I gain it? By associating with those people who have a strong determination. When they have a strong determination, I want to do what they are doing. Like this Prabhu came. He said a beautiful point. We have a goal. Hey, I want to send my kids to this college. I want to save some money for that one. Whatever is the saving account and all that stuff. You open. You plan. How about spiritual life? Do I plan? Say I spend 5 years. In another 5 years, I want to actually, again, we don't talk about Nishtha, or I want to be more focused on Krishna. We don't talk about. We talked about in the January, now we are in the middle of the year. You remember we were talking about the goals for 2024. What am I doing? Decide, I'm going to I'll finish my Srimad Bhagavatam. Goal. That's basically, unless you set up a goal, you come in the morning, like 9 to 5 job, you come every Sunday, you come every Tuesday, attending the class, done.
I think in Srimad Bhagavatam, 18 books, right? Probably.
Yes.
In 1 year.
Yes. You read translation, no problem. Read translations.
I started from the year.
Yeah.
I just, the first, what is it? First canto. First book.
I
just finished half probably.
No problem. Read only translation first. No problem.
But it's interesting.
So you read.
Even
At the 12th month, even if you took a vow to finish 12 cantos, you reach to 8th canto, for an example. Rather than not doing, I'll tell you, if you don't form the goal, you will not be able to get
So
anywhere.
what I thought first, at least to finish that first canto in this year, I thought like that.
No, not first canto.
But-
Yeah, you have to keep the goals higher.
Yeah.
This is company, this thing,
But
right?
I think I'm going to finish maybe in 2 months probably.
Yeah.
Almost like,
Yeah. So, second canto, and now third canto will be another test for you. It is fully scientific. It is fully about how the creation, and it becomes really on, at least for me, going above the head.
This is what happening probably. I started, right? I just read 1 or 2 pages in a day, before going to sleep. Then whenever I play cricket, right? I play cricket probably. I spend 3
That's okay.
hours.
That's an exercise.
Now, like, here you're spending 3 hours. There you're reading only just 2 or 3 pages.
You have to prioritize them.
I mean, my mind is like, then nowadays even I'm not able to enjoy the cricket as well. I mean, slowly, I don't know, I'm just playing, but that interest, I mean, so many questions are coming from you. Total confusion only. Okay, whenever I do.
This is knowledge. We read in the previous verse, with the detach, with the determination, you cut it with the knowledge. So now this knowledge is poking you in.
Yeah,
it's a good poke.
Even in office, probably when the meeting when the meeting is done, you'll have 5 or 10 minutes.
Yes.
What I do, I take phone, I check messages.
Yes.
Why are you doing this?
Yes.
But I'm not thinking probably something is pushing, and sometimes I feel okay. It's giving me. When I don't do that, I'm losing my energy too. Oh my God.
This is Paramatma, which means the process is helping you to remember what. Now on the 5 minutes, what I do is, I have Chaitanya Charitamrita next to my, I'm on Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm reading that one after Srimad Bhagavatam. So when I'm doing that, I kept it on near my work, this thing. The moment I have a break for 5-10 minutes, I read 1 page. Let me read 1 page. I'll tell you, today morning, I came for Aarti. I just heard 1 line. In car, I have audio. Srimati Radharani cooks the rice for Krishna. That rice is so fragrant, even the jnanis melt away. That's all I heard. When I came in, took the darshan, this line, when I saw Srimati Radharani, wow, what a rice you would be making. So understood the power of just 1 minute of hearing. Just 1 minute of hearing transforms you. And that is all we want. That is all we want. Reading a page, reading a paragraph, hearing 1 line transforms your life. Keeps thinking about that thing. Hey, what to do? Right. So I'll quickly go through this. It's 8:30. It is now clearly stated the real form of banyan tree cannot be understood in this material. We talked about that. Yet one has to find out the cause. I am the son of my father. My father is the son of such and such person. By searching in that way, one comes to Brahma. But ultimately, boils down to Vishnu. So don't find out naiti, not this, not this, not this. Ultimately, everything has to be connected to Krishna. The word asanga is very important connection because the attachment for sense enjoyment and lording it over the material nature is very strong. I want to enjoy this material, that's a problem statement. So I want to, rather than being an enjoyer, I want to be enjoyed by Krishna. It's a higher consciousness. I'm not there yet, but that's the principle. Therefore, one must learn detachment by discussion of spiritual science based on authoritative scriptures. What are we doing? We are doing the same thing. Practicing detachment with the knowledge. That's why when we study Bhagavad Gita, I keep pushing for the personal class, because whether you want or you don't want, a distraction will be there when you are joining on Zoom. Or this message pop up, or this came in, this came.
Yeah,
in.
that's true, bro.
But when you are sitting, you don't have an option. You're
Not
sitting.
only that, probably mind is.
Yeah.
I mean, here also, mind is going different places.
Correct.
At least I'm able to see your.
Correct, because
better.
you will have some kind, at least like I have that. I have some kind of self this thing. Oh, I don't want to someone tell me, hey, what are you doing in front of me? You're just looking here and there. So you feel ashamed to do in front of others. But when you're alone, nobody is watching you. That's unfortunate thing for us, right? I'm just talking about myself. As a result of such discussion, is the association of devotee. One comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from where we never come back. Right? So that's the whole idea. So I think we will continue next week from text 5. Yeah, I think this is where we end. Any questions or comments? All set? All set, bro. Wonderful. So we will end.